own your space, be authentic, so people can like say that's a real you and that you've got a voice. You don't have to be on video. I think video is great, but as long as you've got something out there consistently that's authentically you, and where can I find you, make it as easy as possible. Those three things, basically.
What happens when you mix marketing savvy, a love of storytelling, and just the right dose of blue-haired boldness? You get Rachel Moore. Rachel isn't just a marketer. She's the one who helped us launch Wavemakers. And if you've seen her on LinkedIn, you know she's a force of nature. On top of that, she's a seasoned pro in the podcasting world. From hosting and producing shows from global brands to running her own agency. But wait, there's more. Rachel has built a career at the intersection of creativity, communication, and technology for SaaS companies, B2B firms, and events featuring names as big as Gary Vaynerchuk. In this episode, Rachel takes us through her origin story, why visibility and authenticity matter now more than ever, how AI fits into creativity and when it doesn't, and practical ways to stand out in a noisy market. This one's packed with energy, honesty, and a few laughs you won't forget. So we are so excited to have Rachel Moore with us today. So I always say there's a good LinkedIn and a bad LinkedIn. Rachel is one of the good LinkedIns. I don't know how I found her, but her post, I don't know, they just showed up in my feed one day. And I started looking at her profile and all these things. And we were thinking about starting the podcast. Rachel is the one I reached out to, and here we are. She's helped us start Wavemakers, and it's just been so much fun getting to know her and things like that. And Rachel, just first of all, thank you so much for helping us with everything.
Oh, it's awesome. It's a good ride. I've never been surfing, but it's been awesome.
Oh, we're going to get you on that one. So, I love how you tell your story. And obviously this is what, we want to talk about today. But how did you get into marketing, kind of, and where you are now?
Yeah.
Give us a little lowdown.
I will. So I always refer to this. I'm a big nerd. This is going to come across so heavy and hard on this podcast. I'm a super big nerd, and I love origin stories, like from superhero lore, right? Where it's like, oh my God, how did Spider-Man got bit by a radioactive spider and all this stuff, and then he was suddenly a superhero. Before my marketing career, I had office administration was my focus. Executive assistant, office manager, that kind of stuff. Hadn't gotten my college degree yet, but I was learning a whole hell of a lot of stuff. And so I was working it's 7 blocks from me. I was working at Swedish Medical Center for an air ambulance agency there called Air Life. And my mom had actually helped me get that job because she had been a flight nurse for that agency. So there was some history there too. It was good. So as part of the hospital system, it was on us to try to make sure we were the air ambulance of choice. So if you imagine this, if someone is in a fender bender or they get injured in say a car wreck and first responders show up, well, they decide, they're like, okay, an EMT might show up, be like, oh no, this person's got to get airlifted, or they do need an ambulance or whatever. What you want is that person can then decide, well, who we're going to call. It's like Ghostbusters a little bit, but that was such a layup for that. But
I saw that.
Yeah. But they can decide based on who they like to work with, who they trust, or whatever, who they should call. So we wanted them to say, well, we'll call Air Life Denver. No marketing budget, though, to speak of, or very little. So suddenly, social media is starting to happen. I'm like, hey, my director, there's this thing called a Facebook page you can create, apparently, and it's free to do. So maybe we should do that. Would you be okay if I give it a try? And she's like, oh, absolutely. Now, mind you, again, had done office administration. I had some graphic design ability. I had, had a good eye for layout and stuff like that. And, obviously when you're doing office admin or any kind of exec, you communicate with people a lot. So, being able to communicate and write and all that stuff. And so, yeah, I started a Facebook page. I also created a Twitter account for myself, but also for the Air Ambulance Agency. And then we also were like, let's start a blog, which was interesting too, because it's healthcare, it's HIPAA. So that was super interesting. But started those 3 things. And oh my goodness, I was in love. I was like, this is the greatest thing ever. And I always refer to it. It was like this trifecta of things that I geek out about. It's technology. I don't know if y'all have ever said, hey, let me put together a Facebook post. And, oh, I need to make sure that the image looks just this way. And, oh, did you know there's a hashtag I could use? And can I tag people? That's kind of neat. Oh, maybe I should put it in a group. Should I put it in a group? Should I do it in a page? Should I do it, whatever? Can I schedule it? Oh my gosh. And then I can go see like the analytics on it. I can like see how many people looked at it. Whoa. So I was like geeking out about all that stuff. And then I loved the creativity of it. It's like, oh, I can like, there's memes. Oh my gosh. And y'all, if you ever like, I speak in GIFs. I don't care how old that makes me look. I don't care. It is
I'm with you on that.
It's my medium of choice. But that came on the scene, memes, GIFs, just making like, this is a package. This whole thing is a package. It's not just about a caption and a graphic and stuff, but it's like, what is the compelling thing that I'm going to see this, then I'm going to read that, then I'm going to act on it, So it was like that. It was just trying to figure out the ways that it could be creative and compelling enough to make someone just stop the never-ending scroll and be like, that's the thing I'm going to look at. And then the communication part. I'm such a huge believer in communication. Big reason why I love podcasts, because it's one of those most effective ways to do it. Because my gosh, if we can't communicate with each other, what are we even doing here? So,
Right.
and knowing, especially, all we're trying to do is make people aware of stuff. Like, hey, I want you to choose your own adventure. Maybe you should know what your choices are. Here, I'm a choice. And so I loved all three of those things, but that's how I got started in social media. That was my last executive or office admin job I did. My next role was a social media specialist. I worked for a couple startups, kept going with that, and I don't know if anyone listening to this or watching this has ever worked for a startup, but usually here's how it goes. One day you're like, hey, should we like do emails to marketing maybe? Like, should we send emails to our customers? And then the next day they're like, Rachel, guess what? You're in charge of our email marketing. Yeah. And so okay, I hear MailChimp something people use. So I just start going and learning that. Then, it's like, well, what about websites? What are we hosting our website on? Do we want a blog? Yes. Why don't you go run that? And in fact, go set up that blog. And it's like, okay, hello, WordPress.com. So it really, that was just, startup world was great because it is just so much of like, go try that, learn it, cool, and make it work. So that was my marketing career really in a nutshell. And that's honestly, now I'll circle back around to where we are today, because one of the mediums that started happening was live streams. And so I remember when Facebook Live first came out, I was very annoyed because I'm an Androider. I have an Android phone. I don't have an iPhone. And all iPhone users got it first. And I was very annoyed by that. And I was like, I can't try it out. But they had this other thing, like there was a platform called Blab, which is no longer with us. Yeah, it was really cool. It was only around for about a year, but it let you like live stream, not just yourself, but as a group. So it was almost like live streaming a Zoom nowadays. And so I totally got into that. And frankly, we'll probably, people could say like, well, can a live stream be a podcast? Yes. Can a podcast and live stream be separate? Yes. It's like, technically those were kind of the first podcasts, if you will. And of course, then podcasts came along too, where you've got like, what is that one? God, I can't ever remember it. It's the one it was like about the guy who was imprisoned falsely, or they were like looking into his, I'm going to be so dumb. You know what I'm thinking
I can't remember
right?
the name. Yep.
I'm totally
now
blanking out.
Said it. Yeah.
But that one really kind of, podcasts have been around, but that really brought them back to the fore, where it's like, hey, people are listening to this stuff and they're mesmerized and they're binging episodes. And it's just so, I just loved all that. I loved that was this medium and something I had experience in. I had done radio and TV certification way back in the aughts. I think it was 2001. And I started doing that. And I obviously have no problem being on camera and talking to a microphone. So yeah, it just was a good fit. And that brings us to today. So now I do podcasting primarily for you all, which has been such a delight, but it's what I love to do. And I guess still get to nerd out on all three of those things: creativity, communication, and technology, all in a great package. And that's where we are. It's kind of cool, kind of wild. I can't even talk about it. See, I'm like such a good communicator and I can't even get it out. But yeah.
Because you're too excited.
I am really excited.
It's just coming through the screen here.
Good.
No, I love it though, how you were like with the early social media and you were like, I finally found my why.
Yes.
This is it, and you can tell that you really enjoy it and things like that. And I mean, it's just so creative. So obviously we're going to include your LinkedIn with the notes from this, but I mean, go check it out because I love it. I just absolutely love it. And your posts crack me up. So
I try. I just feel like, I mean, are we all over a little like, here's my thought leadership. I'm, gonna somehow turn this meme of this, CEO grabbing a ball cap from a little guy on a screen, and isn't he a jerk? Let me turn that into a thought leadership piece. It's like, oh, come on. Let's laugh a little bit about the fact that my cat walks across my laptop, or let's, hey, everybody, good morning to everyone, especially if you needed 3 cups of, caffeine today, and just really getting real about what work and professional life is like as a human being, right?
Right. How many thought leadership things did the Coldplay incident
Oh,
launch?
gosh. Yes.
Like, beat it. It's the dead horse thing. It's like, come on. I'm like,
Every other post.
You don't have to have an opinion about it. It's okay.
Right.
It's,
Leave these people alone. Yeah, it's totally that. No, and even in the name of your company, but wait, there's more.
But wait, there's
Last
more. I
name
love
more.
it.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
it.
My maiden name was Maxwell, so that naturally goes to the coffee for anyone who still imbibes Maxwell coffee. But yes, I had the Maxwell House joke all the time made when I was growing up. But I love, my married name is Moore, and that was interesting because I did do a little stint where I had an agency called Really Social. And still there, really.social. Actually, if you do that, you're going to get redirected to my new website. But here's why that happened, is because that really does, what I'm about to describe kind of illustrates the evolution. Because social media was my origin story into marketing. But as I mentioned, I started learning email marketing. I started learning blogging and website development, CMS management and stuff like that, PR, podcasting and live streaming, overall content marketing, email, just making the emails, doing executive communications, events, and doing event marketing. So really just being the sponge. And as when I did jump off and do this business, I was like, I can't call myself really social anymore. That doesn't encompass it. So, and I wanted it to be flexible to whatever's next. What if in 2 years I'm like, well, now I'm an AI marketer or whatever the hell is going on. So yeah, but wait, there's more with 2 O's is my business now. And that's the evolution.
And you just brought up the AI, and I was going to ask you, Rachel, because things are very different probably when you were getting started. And so a lot of people are leaning on AI.
Yeah.
Very heavily. How do you see, or what advice can you give to folks that maybe are using AI really as their tool for creativity instead of taking a little bit more time and kind of carving out their own brand? What are your thoughts on AI and being authentic? We're trying to be authentic.
A human's got to be involved. I'll just be right up front with that. I do use AI.
Sure.
And I'll tell you, it's saving my bacon in a couple of ways, because I think we've all faced the, oh God, blank page. What do I even say? I think AI is brilliant in that kind of instance, because you can just be like, okay, I need to do this. Here's some background. Here's some context. Here's a website or some links you can refer to for context. I need to come up with messaging for this. Give me some ideas. Now, those ideas are probably not going to be the thing you go with, but they can get you to the next. Oh my gosh. Okay, that lit up something, and I'm going to go. Like I very often, I'll use AI to come up with maybe some social media captions, and you can tell it things like this too. And y'all, just a quick note, if your social media caption is just like rife with those little rocket ship emojis, we all know where that came from. You can actually tell it, say, cut the emojis out, stop it. And it'll apologize profusely. And like, I'm so sorry, you caught me. I totally did it. Yes, I do put affectations and voice on my AI, like, okay, stop whining. But I do use it. So I actually signed up for Claude, which is one of many AI tools out there. Use what works for you. But I'm using it to help tie in together. I'm embedded in a couple of clients. So I'm in a Jira for one of them. I'm in an Airtable for another one. And I use ClickUp. And I'm making it to where they can all talk to each other. And I'm actually using Claude to set up what I guess is a Node.js app of some kind that will actually sync up all those tasks together. Did I know how to do that? I did not. There's no way. And I'm cheapskate. I don't want to pay for Zapier. I'm like, well, how do I make this all work together? And I was like, yeah, I can help you with that. So it's been really interesting. I will say too, and I'll wrap up this verbose response by saying this. I saw a really good LinkedIn post. Actually, someone said, look, if you're a marketer out there and AI's here, you do need to embrace it. And he's like, what you need to be able to do is when you're interviewing for a job, be able to describe instances when you used AI. Do you have preferences for which AI tools you like to use for what kind of stuff? Do you prefer to use Gemini for this? Do you prefer to use Claude for this or ChatGPT for this? What kind of prompts do you use? And, maybe challenges you've encountered. How have you trained the LLM and stuff like that? And being able to answer with that, and when you're going for a job in the future, at least indefinitely, is a must do. And that made a ton of sense to me, because I feel like it's like, hey, don't use AI to apply to this job, but we're going to ask you about AI and you better start using AI on day one. So that's where we are.
Yeah.
No, it's so funny. It's like, don't use AI to, polish your resume and
Right.
become something that you're not. But we're going to use AI over here to
To screen out the
eliminate you.
resumes that
right.
that use AI.
And if you make it through that gauntlet, your first interview may be with AI.
Yes, that's
And-
true. I know.
And if we hire you, your first performance review is going to be written by AI.
Right.
Because, and it is kind of like silly when you step back. And yes, it does, there's a ton of benefit with it.
Yeah.
There's so much I've done this year that I never would have been able, like you said, a starting point, but even just technology wise, there's some things on WD Beacon that we created with a developer that AI helped us figure it out and
Yeah.
to how to build that. Never would have been able to do that. But yeah, it is kind of get
It
a
can
little
get
silly.
the creative going, but I do
Yeah.
think you have to still be authentic. People can kind of
Yeah.
smell the AI these days. And that actually, I was going to ask you, how,
Mhm.
I guess, how can people, maybe that they don't have that creativity or,
Hmm.
like yourself getting on the stage, emceeing and doing this and that and podcasts, how can people start to kind of carve that out and get that creativity going and and so that they could start building out their story and show that they are authentic and not just, regurgitating what AI has said to say.
I think it's a great question, because, and here's the thing, it's AI, and it's cool because, like, at the client I work at, one of our the person who works in security, she's going to be a podcast guest for that client. She has a background in linguistics, and they're talking to her. I think the main theme of that episode is going to be how does linguistics and LLMs that everybody's using right now. That is what your AI tool is language learning models, and the emphasis on the learning. It's working off of inputs is what it's doing. Where it's pulling those inputs, that's again why you want to have eyeballs on it. You want to make sure you're looking stuff. I will tell you, I have put a blog link into ChatGPT and said, hey, whip up a caption for this, and only to find that it made something up. Like, that was nowhere in that blog. What are you talking? And I actually got in a little verbal sparring with ChatGPT. I'm like, what did you just do? You just where'd you get that from? Oh, you caught me. And I'm just like, yes, I caught you. Don't do that again. And I do try it again. Oh, okay. Again, you're making something. So you absolutely cannot just take what it's giving you as like the God's honest truth. You have to be able to, I need to use some critical thinking here. So critical thinking skills can get developed when you're using AI, but it is working off of inputs. So, for instance, I had a podcast episode that I'm like, I had the transcript for it, and I'm like, I need to write a blog for this, but I need to write it in my voice. And so what I did was I gave the chat tool, I said, okay, so here's the transcript of that, but I want you to write it into a blog, but I'm going to give you some other inputs. I was like, here's some other copy, and you can just copy and paste the stuff right in there. You can do links. I have found a couple times, like ChatGPT, for some reason, will be in a mood, be like, I'm sorry, I can't, my browsing capability won't work right now. And I can't say that.
That's crazy. I know. It's inconsistent.
It is. And I'll literally just throw up my hands, be like, fine, I'll go to Gemini and see if he can do it, you weirdo. But which also, it's kind of like working with coworkers, is it not? Because some days they're just like, I can't do that for you. And you're like, what is wrong with you? I'll go over to here. And and I'll like, oh my God, ChatGPT wouldn't help me. Can you believe that? So you can actually treat them like coworkers, but hopefully not that sassy. I mean, let's not be jerks. But I could tell it, say, okay, here's how I write. I've written my LinkedIn posts. I can give it like a blog I did right from scratch and be like, and I could tell things too. Like, I have told my chat tool, be like, look, I'm a nerd. I love pop culture references. But I want to be inclusive. So don't, so maybe steer away from like just constant baseball or football themes. But, and I tell it that kind of stuff, and it comes up with a pretty decent result, which I'm still going to go through and fine tune and make sure that does sound like me. But my goodness, it does help it can learn your tone and
Oh,
carry
yeah.
that forward and through into the rest of that chat history and remember that stuff. Still check every time, but it's like a person getting to know you a little bit by saying, okay, I know what you like. And you always have that little feedback that you can say, this was spot on, thumbs up. Nah, you sucked at this one, thumbs down,
Right.
and so it does learn to the best that the machine can at this moment. But yeah, I would just say, if you are looking for that and trying to say, how can I be creative, unhatch that creativity, use AI to help that, just give it as much source material as you can. And then just talk to it, let it know if it messed up. Let it know if it's like, now you're off track. I don't like referring to that. I never watched that show. So don't make that reference. I don't know what that
Right.
is. So you can have a back and forth with it. But I'm glad it's around. I mean, it's especially, I don't know if anyone else is working remotely and where you literally are, your coworker is your cat or dog. It's kind of nice to have something to bounce some
Those are good.
ideas off of and develop ideas from.
Yeah.
No, actually, I saw something, and I'm gonna have this. I was trying to remember the percentage. I'm gonna have it wrong. I think it's 30%, maybe 40.
Mm-hmm.
Of when you post something in GPT,
Yeah.
it goes to Reddit 40% of the
Yes.
time. If you
Yeah.
notice anytime, because mine, it was the same thing where it'll hallucinate and then it comes up. It's like, oh, I made it up, So that's actually, I'm a big believer in stats, and I'm always posting
Yeah.
the proof of where I got it.
That's right.
And there's always Reddit in
Yeah.
any kind of proof. It's like, well, that one doesn't count.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. I would say though too, for anyone who's not, if you're a business and not at least visiting Reddit yourself, you should. It's still the front
It's
page of
good.
the internet. But and just to your point, you just hit nail right on the head though. Go Google search something right now. You're gonna get a Reddit result. Ask it any question. There's gonna be a Reddit subreddit somewhere in there on the first page. And
Yep.
it is pulling from there, which means it's a very high prioritized source. So if you want to show up in people's search results, you should probably have a presence on Reddit. And figuring that out is really interesting. Nikki, this goes right back to what you're saying. Got to be authentic on Reddit. Man, they will
They're on it.
read you the
Yeah.
riot act if you
Yeah.
are not.
Well, yeah, and that's I was going to ask about the
I'm on-
visibility. So that's great, Rachel. Reddit, make yourself visible. There's
Mhm.
there's other outlets out there, but
Sure.
I mean, especially as we tell Workday folks is you've got to stand out, right? It's a crowded ecosystem. It's a crowded market. A lot of resumes start looking and sounding the same, and
Yeah.
so visibility is key. Is there something that can suggest so maybe somebody can be more visible, whatever platform that is, to stand
Yeah.
out a little bit more,
Yeah. And
miss more?
please keep, yes, right. Please keep in mind too, I'm obviously an extrovert. I will try to keep that introvert stuff in mind as well, because I know not everybody's like, oh, great, I'll just go jump on and do a selfie video, which
Yeah.
everyone loves when you're doing an interview and they say, please record a video of yourself recording an answer to this, 3 minutes to this question. You're like, okay. But I will say, and my friend Ann Wynn, she's been my social media sister for 15 years. We are hardcore on this. You should get your own domain. You should go buy your own website domain. And y'all, it's $10 as long as you don't have a really common name. Now, if you try to go buy rachelmoore.com right now, that's gonna cost some money. But buy something. Buy something that is your own domain, because you don't have to build a website on it, but you could link it. Maybe you got a Substack you want to start. Maybe you want to be on like WordPress.com or some other blogging thing. Or you just want to create a landing page. You'd be like, here's me. I just think it's super important to own your own land there, because as much as I do post on LinkedIn, guess who owns those? LinkedIn. LinkedIn owns my
That's
content
true.
on there. It's on their domain. And granted, yes, I can. And I look at it this way. I have my philosophy around marketing is that all roads lead to Rome. You are Rome. Your website is Rome. My butwaitthere'smore.com is my Rome. And I have all these roads that I can put stuff out there that I don't own. I don't own those roads. I get to do things on them. I can put a sign up or something, a LinkedIn post, whatever. But all these roads are meant to drive people to me, to my Rome, which is my website. And that's where I control everything. That's where I can put a form up. And if somebody wants to contact me, well, now I've got their email and I've got their contact information, or they can email me directly and I've got that. But we've got to own our own brands. I cringe when I hear people like, oh, I don't have a website. I just use a Facebook page. I'm like, oh, Well, if almighty Mark decides that he or his, staff don't like your page, or someone reports it and they can lock you down, your website's gone. Bye. You don't own that. LinkedIn could decide tomorrow to be like, Rachel, we feel like you're a docs account or something and you're going to get blocked. And I've seen people have that happen. We've seen what's happened with certain social media platforms change ownership, and the whole environment adjusts. And you're just like, what happened to this thing that I used to love? It could happen to LinkedIn tomorrow. I love LinkedIn. That's my number one app, but I don't own the stuff I put on there. So as far, Nikki, to answer your question, it's like, I think you first need to own yourself. I loved what you said, Carla, too, about your why. What is your why? And get your website, get your domain for that. But as far as like standing then out amongst the noise, it comes down to ownership. Personal branding is huge. One thing that was really important to me, especially in the era of social media, and handles. So what's your handle? Where can I find you on? And to make it as easy as possible for people to do that. So I made sure my handle is the same across all apps. It's Rachel Has the Mic, MIC, with no spaces.
I love that.
Because I've got a microphone, and that's never going to change. Whether I'm, I just always do. I'm always talking in a mic. I am an extrovert, like I said. But you can do that, and that introvert or extrovert, make it as easy as possible for people to find you, where they don't need the super complex long link to find you. But if I just go type in Rachel Has the Mic somewhere, I can do that. I would also say pick one or maybe two apps that you do routinely live on, as far as like, let me do a daily post, or even every other day, some consistency there. Make sure there's a picture of you, an actual, not an AI picture. We all can tell. Looks all kind of like that kind of like that glow.
If you're on LinkedIn, put a picture.
It's got that little sheen going on there. We can all tell. But put a picture of yourself. Also, please make sure it's not one from where you at the wedding and you've got someone's ear over here and there's a hand over here. Y'all, I always tell people, I'm like, just go outside, find some indirect sunlight, get against a brick wall or a solid color, take a selfie. There's your headshot. But oh God, Nikki, it comes back to that authenticity thing. I need to know, especially in today's day and age, am I talking to a real person?
Right.
And if you can have, yes, I'm real, here's where to find me. And now you know what I think about stuff, because I am posting. So it's those three things. Own your space, be authentic, so people can like say that's a real you and that you've got a voice. You don't have to be on video. I think video is great, but as long as you've got something out there consistently that's authentically you, and where can I find you, make it as easy as possible. Those three things, basically.
That's good.
Awesome.
Yeah. And honestly, I mean, again, with AI, I mean, Lovable, you could sit there and crank up a website in 2 seconds, I mean,
You totally could.
really. But and I know, I mean, we've talked with people, especially independent contractors. So they're their own business.
Yeah.
But they also are, I mean, they're working all the time. And they're like, I don't have time to do all this stuff and things like that. Yeah. But even when you're saying kind of being out there, and obviously it's easy for people like you. Right. I remember, starting when we were starting to kind of share stuff and things like that. And obviously I've gotten more comfortable with it over the years. But one of the things I always worried about was, what if I offend somebody, or what if this doesn't attract whatever? And
yeah,
I read something somewhere that they were like, that's okay. Yeah. You're not supposed to. And it is just you being you. Mm-hmm. And it helps kind of funnel your peeps to you.
Yeah.
They'll funnel themselves out.
Yes. And, if you think about it, y'all, there are YouTubers who are eating snacks into a microphone just for the sound, and they have millions of subscribers. Don't tell me you don't have an audience for what you think is important. If I can unwrap a Milky Way bar and eat it and it sounds all gooey and which I just hate ASMR, by the way. So I'm not that audience base. That's fine. They don't want me there, but they've got a ton of people. I know friends who are. And so I tell my husband the same thing. I'm like, I keep saying, you should have your own channel where you like cook, because he's an amazing cook. And he's like, nobody's going to watch that. I'm like, oh, people will watch.
Will.
Yeah. And so, but exactly what you said, it's like, and again, it doesn't have to be you being on a video with a big camera set up and everything like that. You have an audience. Someone out there is going to care about what you have to say, whether that's just typed words, so it's text only, or maybe you put a meme up or something, but and you maybe all that we see of that who is really you is your profile image. That's okay. But we can still get a sense of who you are by the content you're putting out in the world. And unfortunately, yes, I feel like everybody, especially if you're trying to get a job, needs to be have some kind of content creation. It's interesting because like I work when my client has a ton of engineers, their world is in GitHub. And there's GitHub repositories that are open to public. People will go in there and they'll share like what they're working on and programs they're doing, and that's their content. So
Yeah.
there's all kinds of ways. You don't have to be a marketer, but you need to be out there. And again, how can I find you? How can I see what you're working on? How can I know that's really you and that you know what you're doing, kind of thing. So, and again, when you come back to like, I need someone to hire me, or whether I'm a contractor or looking for a permanent position, that is what it all comes back down to. It's so hard right now, though, y'all. I mean, gosh, it's a struggle for everybody, including me. Please don't feel like, oh, well, Rachel corrected. I did not. I mean, there's a reason I have my own business versus like working full time somewhere, because it's like, it's hard out
Right.
there. So this is a great topic to talk about, like how can you possibly rise to the top and be seen, and get that opportunity you want, right?
Well,
Well, I mean, it is. And, I think it's not at 50%, but there is a larger percentage of people now that are independent. And again, when you're independent, you own your own business. And again, though, they're spending the majority of their time. It's just like any kind of entrepreneurial thing.
Yeah.
It's as you mentioned earlier with a startup. There's so many things going on. And it's like, oh, can you fog a mirror? Okay, go do this, and go do this, and that kind of stuff. And we've talked with people, and it's just like, share your knowledge. There's some people on LinkedIn that have just skyrocketed just from sharing their knowledge on there. You talked about GitHub. Recruiters source there all day long.
Yeah.
And things like that. But it is important. I mean, honestly, look at how we found you.
Right. Right. And did I know when I'm posting that stuff that, oh, that's going to lead to Carla, encountering the algorithms? I mean, we try our best, and the algorithms on these, really does decide what you see. Somehow, probably someone in your network saw, like maybe they're connected with someone in my network, third degree. And they're like, so we're, they're as far apart as can be, but maybe they liked my post. Now that's in their feed. And they're like, oh, I like that too. And because of that, and because of their proximity to you, with your connection, that got served up on your feed, and now you saw it, and look what happened. And that's what I'm saying too, is like, you're very rarely going to know where exactly an opportunity is going to come from that can lead to something fortuitous for both parties, right? Where it's good for everybody. LinkedIn, I love too, because I know that I know a lot of people hate on LinkedIn. I will not. I'm sorry. I like it. I do think it stayed stagnant for quite a while and finally started adding some like new features, which I was really glad about. But I'm telling my kids, y'all, I have a 19-year-old and a 16-year-old, and my 16-year-old is on LinkedIn. My 19-year-old is not yet. I say that with great frustration, because I cannot emphasize to them enough. I'm like, the network is the thing. The network is going to be the thing that saves you. My business today is successful because of my network. I don't even, and I say this with great privilege, and I'm very thankful for it, I do not sell my services. I don't have paid ads going on out there. I get all my stuff from referral or from people finding me. And I'm so thankful for that. But it's not from nothing. I mean, I got over 5,000 followers. I just hit that earlier this year. I've been on LinkedIn, y'all, for over 10 years.
Wow.
So it's taken a while. I've cultivated. And if you haven't done that, start now. If you are a wee little babby out there, if you're like a 15-year-old, you're like, should I be on? Yes, go get on it right now. It might change, but get on there now. It is a professional network. It is. That's the way it is right now. And so just be on there and start adding your stuff, start networking with people. You just do not know when that person out there is going to be the thing that is the gateway to your opportunity you needed right then. You don't know, particularly like we said, in today's day and age where some people are like, have been looking for jobs for a while. That's going to matter. It matters now, and it's going to keep mattering. So yes, just get on LinkedIn and just post 3 times a week. It'll help you. It'll be so worth it. I promise. I promise you.
What about, I know I should do this. I know I should lose weight. I know I should go exercise. We all know these things that we should do. All right. I know I need to post 3 times a week, or I know I need to, 1 time a week. What would you say to just get them over get people over that hurdle, that
Sure,
one
sure.
hurdle.
You don't have to start from scratch. I bet if you were to scroll LinkedIn for 10 minutes, not even, you'd find a post you're like, huh, or oh, or what? Whatever your reaction is. And you can, your rule of thumb, I think, should be if you are going to hit the react button on a post, guess what? Why don't you go talk about that yourself and say, I ran across a post today that was this.
That's it. Yeah.
I will also vent on LinkedIn. I'm sure you've seen that. Where it's like, oh my gosh, can we stop with this? Like I even did one last week. It was the 2 weeks ago. Taylor and Kelsey. Yeah, then they got engaged. Y'all, my feed the next 2 days was a mixture of two things. It was either brands crowbarring, mentioning Taylor in their post and somehow tying it into their brand. And we also saw a lot of brands change their colors to orange simply because on that podcast, she announced that her favorite color is orange. They changed their brand color. So half of the posts were that. And the other half were my fellow marketers. Oh my God, people, putting Taylor Swift in there. I'm like, you're doing it right now. And so all I did was I said, y'all stop. You know what I'm talking about. And I got some reactions on that where people were like, no, I won't. And I'm like, okay. And I laughed at that, but it can be that. I mean, and that's something. And this is the baseline I would say too. I am on social the way I talk, the way I'm talking to you right now. That is what I talk like, I type like I talk. And I think that's key. God, we keep coming back to that authenticity. Thing, right. I need you to know that when you read a post by me, if we go meet up for coffee later, it's exactly how I'm going to sound.
Yes.
And then Carla, what you were saying too, like I had people who disagreed with that. That's okay. Guess what that is? It's engagement. And a lot of people will do the rage bait stuff on there too. They're like, let me just post something really annoying and have everybody come pile on in the comments, be like, oh my God, I can't believe you did that. Well, that's engagement. And now they're going to get pushed up the algorithm and more people will see it. So, hey,
that's true.
But yeah, I would say if you're going to react to something, guess what? That is a great idea. You have an opinion about that thing. Go put that on there. If you are encountering a hardship, maybe you're having one of my things that I've been venting about lately is my health insurance costs are going to go through the roof in just a few months. And like you said, I'm a business owner and I buy off the exchange. That's a big worry for me. So that's absolutely professionally related. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. And then the other thing I would say, if you have we all been in these groups online where they're like, hey, everybody, share your success this week. It can be big or small. Maybe and I hope you're in an online community like that. I think those are so valuable. And you're like, yeah, I kept my cat out of my office while I was on some podcast interviews this week. Yay. But why not post about that? And in this world where things can be so negative, share those wins. I think people would be surprised how many people are like, will react and be like, that's great. They celebrate you. They like it. Or they'd be like, oh my God, you did that. This is encouraging me, and so it can start. I think people feel like if I'm not a CEO and I don't have my own, staff, I can't be a thought leader. Yeah, you can. Do you have thoughts?
Yeah.
Go put them on a post. Lead with that. And that's a thought leader. I don't make the rules. That's just the way it is. And so people get so in their heads, and I totally get it. I'm not saying that's wrong. It can feel you're putting it out into the universe and now people get to react to it. It's a scary thing. But know that you can always edit your LinkedIn posts, thank God. But yeah, I just give it a try, warm it up. And if nothing else, let some of your friends know who are on LinkedIn, be like, hey, I did this post. Would you mind going? I would also say,
love.
Yeah. And to that point too, I think we all know people who maybe want to post more, let's give them some love. The best way you can help somebody is be the first comment on their post.
That's going to say about comments. That's a way to get started too. If you're uncomfortable putting something out there, then just start commenting off of other people's, and that's going to build traction. So I'm glad you hit that.
Well, I've done that. I sometimes have not posted like for a day or two, but I'll comment, and maybe that's a really like everybody starts piling on. And I've gotten like some major profile views from that and followers. So absolutely. I think you should in some way engage on LinkedIn. It would be great if you do post your own stuff, but commenting is a great first step and great last step and great middle step. But yeah, help your people out. But there's nothing wrong with crowdsourcing a little help, saying, hey, friends, I just did my first LinkedIn post. I'm trying to do them every 2 days or whatever. Can you go give it some love? Oh my gosh, yes. I'm totally here for you. Let's go do
Absolutely.
it. So
It's about supporting each
I
other.
love it.
And, but again, that's why I've had these conversations. They are not, let's say, as much personality or outgoing as you, but they want to get noticed more. And I mean that as they're just a little more reserved.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so they started with comments. Then
Yeah.
they put out a first post. Then they got
Mhm.
traction off that post. And it was so amazing to see that confidence just start to grow. And now they're posting all over the place, and it was just to see that growth, but just you
Yeah.
got to take that first step. So
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
do it. You can do it. I have faith.
It's kind of peeking in.
Yeah.
All right. Well, before we do, the infamous to us, barrel rush.
I'm so excited.
I do have to ask you. All
Yeah.
right. Did you meet Gary Vee?
No, never met
Okay.
Gary Vee.
He did, but you put together a conference that he spoke at. Did I read that
Oh
right?
my gosh, yes. Oh, y'all.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, did she meet Gary Vee?
I didn't meet him. No, he wasn't there. He dialed in, and it was our CMO who got to interview him directly. So no, I did not get to interact with him myself.
Okay. I just had to ask that.
that would
I
have
just
been a
had the
fun
6 degrees
conversation.
of Kevin Bacon. I was 2 degrees from Gary Vee.
2 degrees of
It
Gary
counts.
Vee. That's
It
actually,
counts.
I think that could be a great post.
You should copyright that immediately before he does. It's yours. That's your idea now. Go.
All right. So, I'm not even going to introduce this because you know it. So, the barrel rush round,
Do it.
fast money. You ready?
I'm ready to go.
Nikki, am I starting or are you starting?
I can start. I think I have a great one to start with.
Hmm.
Why the blue, Rachel? Why the blue?
It's my favorite color. Blue gives me peace. I live in Colorado, which is a mile high. Denver's a mile high. And we have the bluest sky ever. And blue skies just make me
Yes.
happy. I love it. So I said, you know what? I want blue hair. And here we are.
I love
Oh,
it.
that's
and
awesome.
I love Colorado. Colorado is one of my favorite states ever. All right. One marketing trend you wish would die immediately.
Ooh.
Outside of
The-
everybody jumping on pop culture posts.
I know what it is. Selling your courses in social media posts. I went from 0 to 6 figures in 2 nanoseconds because once I started doing this, bullshit. Sorry, not to. I went there, but
We can
really
always
put
edit
out
that
your-
out.
Yeah,
oh,
that's
no
right.
way, man. We're being real. We're being authentic.
But like, okay, good for you. I don't believe you. But yeah, I'm just so tired of those, and everyone else is tired of them too. I mean, go, if you did that, great, but prove it. Where I want receipts. Show me.
Exactly.
And
I love
not
it.
so I have to like pay you $1,000 to get the receipts. No, you can show me. So
I love it.
yeah, go
We
away.
kind of covered this. All right, just give me like one thing that somebody could do on their LinkedIn profile right now or over the weekend.
Make an effective headline for yourself. It'll auto-populate based on what your current title or role is. So when you're in LinkedIn, you fill in your experience and you'll say, I have this title at this company. You can change that. And I would. That should be your value proposition. What do you offer? What do you accomplish for someone when they reach out to you? It's so much better than account manager 2. Or whatever, or, chief marketing officer. Great. I know what you do, but no, what are you going to do for me? That can be your
Right.
headline, and you can adjust that. You can change it as much as you want, but definitely go customize that. Make it mean something.
That's
Well,
good.
and I will finish the barrel rush with my favorite question. What is your go-to song when you need a little extra motivation or just to get pumped up? What is
Ooh.
it?
Can't Hold Us by Macklemore, and I'll tell you
Ooh.
why. My favorite, I have a tattoo. Everybody can see it. It's from Avatar: The Last Airbender. This is the best. If you ever seen an animated kids show ever, adults, I'm talking to you. Avatar: The Last Airbender is on Nickelodeon. I think it's on Netflix and stuff. It's one of the greatest shows I've ever seen. It's meaningful. It has amazing lessons. It's freaking fabulous. And so much so I got a tattoo of it. But there was an edit someone did, and it got taken off YouTube because it's Macklemore's song, so copyright and whatever. But I did get to see it. And someone edited scenes of that show to Can't Hold Us by Macklemore. And it like makes me tear up every time I see it because it's like about accomplishing, it's about rising up, it's about overcoming people's expectations of you. Like if you're just a kid, you're not going to be able to change the world. It's like, watch me. I need to change the world. I'm going to go do it. I'm going to go save it, in fact.
I
And
love
that's
it.
I love
that's
it.
what the
That's
whole
awesome.
show is about. And I love that every time I hear that song, I think of that. And so I love that song.
Very
Oh, I'm totally
cool.
hitting
Thank
Spotify
you.
after we get off this.
It's great. You're like, it's
Yeah, I'm
it's
already
glorious.
pumped up, and you're just
I
describing
know.
it. So
It's glorious. We'll have to link it in the show notes, right? Be like, everybody go listen to
Well,
this.
we'll put a link in the show notes. That's perfect.
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Well, Rachel, thank you so much for doing this. Obviously, we thoroughly enjoyed it. And I can vouch. I mean, honestly, when I found you on LinkedIn and saved you, I mean, I don't know if you remember the message when I reached out and said, I don't even know how I found you, but would you like to meet? It was
Yeah.
your personality. I immediately, I was like, she's like me. I just gelled with her.
Yeah.
And yes, obviously your expertise, but that's the thing that pushed it over. So thank you so much for helping us get going and for sharing this. I know it'll be super valuable to the ecosystem, and just been so much fun getting to know you and working with you.
Same.
Absolutely. Ditto. Thank you, Rachel.
I
Fabulous.
appreciate you both
It's been
so much.
fun.
And yeah, well, and everybody, you can take it from me, connect with Carla and Nikki on LinkedIn. They are fabulous. I can vouch. And again, I just want to last plug podcasts. This is why they're so awesome. You all are getting a sense of what the people in this on these screens, and that you're hearing our words and what we're like. It is an excellent way. If anybody ever asks you to be a guest on a podcast, go do it. Because you'll have receipts of what you're like in real life, and you'll watch this show, obviously subscribe to it, follow it, subscribe to it. But Carla and Nikki are amazing, and their spirits are amazing. And I just thank you both for including me in your journey. I'm so pleased to be able to support yours too. So this is an awesome match made in heaven.
Yes. Go team.
Thank you, Rachel. A little teary eye.
Making the waves, making the waves.
And making the waves. I love it.
Yeah. And that's a wrap on our conversation with Rachel Moore. And trust us, the energy is still buzzing. And if you enjoyed this episode, please like, share, and leave us a review. This way it can help more people in the Workday ecosystem find wavemakers. And don't forget to check out WD Beacon, our new self-serve platform built to bring clarity and visibility to your Workday career. And we're dropping new features every month, so there's always something fresh to explore. We'll also drop links so you can follow Rachel and check out our website. Trust us, you'll be glad you did. And if Rising sparked new ideas or questions for you, reach out and let us know, as we're always up for a chat. And who knows, it just might be an idea for a future podcast or a story to share on WD Beacon. And as I mentioned before, you just never know where a conversation could lead.